Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're going to do a little talking about troubleshooting your rifle if you are having problems finding accuracy. Now, there's quite a few things that get overlooked a lot and that aren't common knowledge to a lot of people, so hopefully in this video we're going to clear all this up for you and give you a clear plan on how to chase down accuracy issues. So the very first thing you want to check is your optic, your scope, your rings, your base. You want to check all that 100%, make sure it's torque to spec, and ideally if you have another optic on another rifle that you know is a proven setup, go ahead and swap that on the rifle and shoot it a little bit and see if that is your issue. That will help you figure out very quickly if your optic, rings, or base is part of the problem. Now, another commonly overlooked thing are action screws, and this is going to be a lot more applicable if you are using a traditional wooden or synthetic stock. Now, these action screws can have quite a significant effect on downrange accuracy. Now, first of all, you want to check these to make sure these are tight. Usually there is a torque value that whoever makes the rifle is going to put out, or the chassis or stock if you've upgraded it. Now, given that these may be tight, you may also want to play with the torque values. Now, on a wooden stock, I do not suggest going over 30 inch-pounds of torque on these because the wood will compress. Some wooden stocks do have pillars, and you can exceed that if they are plastic or aluminum pillars, or if you have a chassis, you can kind of get a little bit more torque value on it without worrying about it. But on wood stocks, you want to stay on the lower end of scale to avoid compressing the wood, and that may actually be your problem. If you're over torquing these, what's going to happen is you're going to compress that wood, and it's going to relieve some of that torque, and you may have some inaccuracy issues based on that. But if everything's tight and sound, you can play with those in 5 inch-pound increments, and sometimes you will see that that will drastically improve your accuracy. If it wasn't your scope and mounting system and it wasn't your stock, you need to take a look at your bolt necks. Now, ignition is a very, very big part of 22 long rifle, and it's not talked about a lot, at least not as much as it deserves, because rimfire is very finicky and it needs very good consistent ignition in order to get good results. Now, if you own a chronograph, you can shoot it across the chronograph, and if you're getting really wild muzzle velocity numbers that are all over the place, then it would be worth checking your bolt. You want to check the firing pin channel and the firing pin itself. Make sure it's free of burrs, dirt, debris, grease, those kind of things. Get it nice and lubricated and clean and put it back in, and then test again, because inconsistent ignition can cause a lot of problems with rimfire. Now, after we've made it through all this, if you're still having issues, if you don't own a bore scope, I really recommend you buy and own a bore scope. It will help you in cleaning your rimfires. But at that point, we need to put a bore scope down the barrel and look at the chamber and see if we have developed a large carbon ring. Carbon ring can cause issues because it will inevitably grow as you shoot it, and then chunks of this ring can break off, and it can cause really weird things. It can get to the size where it is almost resizing your bullet. It's just not a good thing, and I know this is very subjective. That is just from my experience. Some people never clean their rifles, but if you're having accuracy issues and everything else looks okay, it is worth checking out the chamber and cleaning out that carbon ring. I do have some cleaning videos on the channel, and there's a ton of them on the internet. Go on there, take a look at how to clean out your carbon ring, get that clean, head back out to the range and retest. Now that we've made sure everything, including our chamber, is good, let's go ahead and put that bore scope further down the barrel. And what we're looking for is where the chamber area is. We want to see a smooth transition into the lands and grooves, and we don't want to see a lot of chatter marks. If you're seeing a lot of machining marks, it could very well be that your accuracy issues are your barrel. Obviously, this is going to be a last resort because that is going to require either some gunsmithing or a rebarrel, and we don't want to have to do either one of those. So I would say before you do that, you need to have tested a variety of different ammunitions, because I have seen some chatter mark barrels that will still shoot acceptable grooves. I'm not saying it's ideal, but if you're not wanting to spend a bunch of money on a rebarrel or gunsmithing work, it is possible to find ammunition that will still shoot with that barrel, even though it may not be of the best finish work. These are the steps in which I troubleshoot rifles, especially used ones that I get and they're not shooting quite right. I kind of follow that order and rule things out one at a time until I find out what exactly the issue is, and that's going to help me be more prepared to fix the problem or make a decision on whether or not I need to do something like rebarrel it or send it back to the manufacturer or whatever the case is. So I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next one.